interviewed for the Lakers job in 2019 before taking the Wolverines job, where reportedly he's content on staying. His sons will be playing with him. Shannon, what do you make of Juwan Howard turning down this opportunity, potentially, with the Lakers?
Skip, we know the Lakers are.
Oh, I think we just lost Shannon. So what do we want to do, control room here? Want to take a quick break and see if we can get Shannon hooked up? Okay. So I'll give my answer while we work on Shannon about Juwan. I was intrigued by what Juwan's wife tweeted, defending this notion that Juwan just wanted to stay for their two sons. That they have a son, Jace, who's been there for 3 years, who's just an off-the-bench player, not a big contributor. But they have a soon-to-be freshman son in Jet, who's a high pick. It was a highly recruited player who came close to going to Tennessee and then signed with his father at Michigan. So the wife's point is that they just love the job there, that it's not about their sons, it's about the job. So in the end, I believe that Juwan just believes that the Michigan job is far better than the Laker job. I don't know exactly what's to love about the Laker job right now, as LeBron obviously got tapped on the shoulder by Father Time. Obviously, he's now gone three-point crazy. His attempts from three went all the way up to 8 as he's trying to chase, catch, pass Kareem Abdul-Jabbar next year. But it did not contribute to winning because there were at least 15 times this year where I thought LeBron could have closed a game that he failed to close. And they had the second worst, the Lakers did as a team, late and close record in the league to Indiana, was only worse than the Lakers. So the point is, what's to love on the court? Because AD is in and out of the lineup, in and out, hurt. You can't trust him. He has proven to be brittle and fragile going forward. I don't know how anybody could take this job trusting that both of your superstars could add up to even making the playoffs this year, because they didn't even come close to making the playoffs this year. So in the end, they're relegated to like a Mark Jackson. I know that's Shannon's favorite. And at first, there was a big buzz that LeBron wanted Mark Jackson. And I'm saying there's no way Mark Jackson wants them. I know he did interview for the job, but he wouldn't last a day with this dysfunctional front office that they have in place, in which there's a Phil Jackson and a Kurt Rambis overlooking the coach, coaching the coach, puppet on their strings. Who would want that? Mark Jackson is absolutely his own man, and there's no way that Mark Jackson would ever take this job in his right mind, because it would be a quick fail for him. I appreciate that he interviewed for it. I appreciate that LeBron wants him, or did want him in the beginning. But now LeBron is relegated to a Darvin Ham who's 48 years of age. He's been an assistant for 11 years. And is he Ime Udoka? I have no idea. I would hope so for LeBron's sake. But how can we know that? How can you bet on that? How could you guarantee that? We know what Terry Stotts is and what he isn't. We know what Kenny Atkinson is and what he isn't. So in the end, it feels like this is a job that not many are going to want, except down lower echelon coaches who have failed before. Are you there, Shannon? I think I heard you.
I am.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm here now, Skip. And you echoed what I was going to say. Skip, look, we understand what the Lakers is. They're a cornerstone job, franchise, kind of like the Cowboys. But just like the Cowboys, what's the owners going to do? They're going to be people constantly looking over your shoulder. They're going to be people telling you, well, I want you to hire this guy on your, because Jason Kidd interviewed for the job to become the head coach. Frank Vogel gets the job, and then they tell Frank Vogel to put Jason Kidd on the staff. That's not how it's supposed to work. If you interview for a head coaching job, if I get the job, let me hire the people that I want to work on my staff. Don't you tell me. Don't you have Kurt Rambis hovering around? Don't you have Phil Jackson trying to tell you what I should be doing and what I shouldn't be doing, Skip? And you're right. Right now, with the uncertainty, how many more years is LeBron actually going to play? Can AD stay healthy? Man, look at y'all cap situation. Man, it's not like y'all sitting pretty. I've got a great situation in Michigan. I'm coaching one of my sons. My other son is coming in who is a 4-star. I get an opportunity, and I don't have anybody looking over my shoulder. I don't have anybody telling me who I should play, when I should play him, and how often I should play him. And that's the situation what the Lakers have turned into. Dr. Buss is rolling over in his grave. I know Jeannie thinks she's doing an unbelievable job.
Yep.
And she was for a time. But Mr. Buss didn't have all these people around him telling him what to do, when to do it, how to do it. And you think about it, Jeannie, do what you've always done, you get what you've always gotten. How's that worked out for you? Doing it this way. I know you got a championship, but now you bring Phil in. Phil does not understand how to build a roster. He built a terrible roster with the Knicks. Kurt Rambis, I get Kurt and you and Linda, y'all kind of grew up together. You're very close in age, but come on. Kurt Rambis, really? Coaching? When? Why? Choosing, helping you select players? Why? At the end of the day, Skip, Jeannie, you're going to have to trust your gut. This is not about what someone's telling you to do and what you shouldn't do. You're going to have to go with your gut. Says, you know what? When you made the decision to oust your brothers, nobody told you what to do. You felt this was the right decision that needed to be made, and you made the decision. Choosing a head coach is the exact. Sometimes, Skip, you just got to feel. I just trust this. Skip, you said, well, I don't know if he's going to be Udoka. Willie Green is a damn good coach also.
He is.
Nobody knew what type of coach Willie Green was going to be.
Agreed.
He turned out to be a great coach. For me, I like Darvin Ham. It seems to me, Skip, every time Mark Jackson get into the running, it seems more slanderous things come out where he said this about a coach and an assistant coach and somebody in the front office. He did this. As a matter of fact, someone wanted eggs over easy, and he brought a medium. And it's always something, seemingly every time he gets in the running, Skip, more damaging things come out. It's like a slow drip, a drip, 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 drip. As soon as his name, you don't hear none of this until Mark Jackson's name get into the conversation to be head coach. But for me, Skip, yeah, the Lakers, it's the Lakers. But do I really want a job where it's in prestige, but what am I going to do? Is LeBron going to sign that extension, Skip? How long is LeBron going to be there? What about AD? Can AD stay healthy long enough for us to even compete for a title? And then what am I going to do with Russ? What y'all going to do with Russ? Y'all keep asking me how am I going to coach him. What are y'all going to do with him? Because he's uncoachable. He ain't listening. He can only play one way. Russ has never played without the ball, and we see when you took the ball out of his hand what contributions that he made. He needs the ball. So one or two things need to happen. Either you trade LeBron and give the ball to Russ, or you move Russ and say, LeBron, we want you to be the point.
Okay. Quick point on Kurt Rambis. I've told you this before, but I will reiterate. I got to know him at ESPN. He does have high basketball IQ, but I don't love the fact that you would insert him in a position to coach the coach. It's just not fair. It's not right. It's not done anywhere else like that. It is pure dysfunction and disrespect of whatever coach you hire. See Frank Vogel. Then back to Mark Jackson. All I know, Shannon, you can read all the stories. It ended very badly for Mark in Golden State.
It did.
But I'm a fan. I'm with you. Especially if you give him a younger team, he will mold it. He will teach it. He will show it the way. Unfortunately, we're talking about LeBron and AD and Russ because all indications are they've decided he's untradeable, so the new head coach has to figure out Russ. Well, you can't ask Mark Jackson to try to figure out Russ and AD and LeBron because, trust me, it won't work, especially with Kurt and Phil looking over both of his shoulders. It's
correct.
It's insane. It's not going to work, which brings me back to Russell Westbrook. I don't know how it's going to work for anybody except for Terry Stotts, who's had, what would this be, his fourth head coaching job in this league. Yeah. He had a couple 2-year stints before he got the 9-year stint in Portland. And I think
he was in Atlanta for a minute.
Yeah, he was. He was for a couple of years. And yet, in the end, do I think Terry Stotts is I don't think he's a bad coach. I think he's pretty good. I think he's especially good as an offensive coach. Well, Vogel's calling card was defense, and they cratered on defense this past year. So I don't know.
They got a bunch of old.
Yeah, go ahead.
They had a bunch of old, Skip. They had a bunch. Skip. It's easy to create on defense when you got a bunch of old guys that really never played defense to begin with. Carmelo Anthony was never a defensive player.
No.
Russell Westbrook was never a defensive player.
Agreed.
That's not what Malik Monk is. Monk's skill set is scoring the basketball. AD can't stay healthy. I'm not expecting LeBron at 37 to be able to sit in the chair or play defense for any more than 5 or 6 minutes at a time in a ball game. So you're asking guys to do things they've never done in their career. Dwight Howard was a great defensive player, but Skip, Dwight Howard is old. Dwight Howard can't play that brand of basketball any longer. So you're asking guys to do what they've never been able to do when they were in their 20s, let alone in their mid to late 30s. So for me, Skip, look, the Lakers is the Lakers. But do I want this job, Skip? This is not like college football, Skip. If I'm in Oklahoma or if I'm at Alabama and I want one of these great coaches, Skip, I can just go offer him a boatload of money and I can get him. Pro sports isn't like that. Skip, I can't offer Coach Belichick enough money for him to lead the Patriots. I can't offer one of these Steve Kerr enough money to get him to lead the Warriors. So you're stuck. So now, how do we get a name that merits what the Lakers are? How you get a Pat Riley, Skip? How do I get a Phil Jackson? Well, you can't. You better hope you get one of these young guys and hope they can become half of that. Because the likelihood of you getting that from somewhere else is not going to happen like it would in college basketball or college football. The pro ranks doesn't work like that, Skip. You can't look at it and say, damn, man, I sure wish I wonder how much it'd take for me to get Steve Kerr to